In the first chapter of Proverbs, we are introduced to the voice of wisdom calling out to us. This call is not just a message from ancient times, but a timeless invitation to understand the world, ourselves, and the ways of God. Wisdom is personified here as a figure who is not passive, but actively seeks those who are willing to listen. Here, we are reminded that these proverbs are attributed to King Solomon, the son of David. Solomon, renowned for his wisdom, was Israel's third king, reigning during a time of peace and prosperity. His wisdom was sought after by rulers from distant lands, and it became foundational for the kingdom's laws and everyday living. Solomon writes these proverbs with the goal of imparting wisdom and instruction. The aim is not just knowledge but understanding, the ability to apply that knowledge effectively in life. In the ancient world, wisdom was seen as the key to flourishing, both personally and within the community. This is especially true in Israel, where wisdom was rooted in God's order for creation. The Proverbs also provide guidance on how to live justly and fairly. Prudent behavior refers to living wisely with foresight and discipline. In Solomon's time, and in many ancient cultures, rulers were responsible for upholding justice and fairness. Proverbs is not just a personal guide. It serves as a foundational text for building a just society. This verse emphasizes the inclusivity of wisdom. It's not reserved for the elite or the experienced. Wisdom is accessible to everyone, especially to the young and the inexperienced. In the ancient world, young people often learn through apprenticeship and community involvement, and Proverbs provides an essential tool for their development. Even the wise can become wiser. This verse encourages those who already possess wisdom to continue learning. Wisdom is a lifelong journey, and no matter where you are in life, there's always room to grow. Solomon calls for continual self-reflection and openness to guidance, whether from others or from God. Proverbs 1 verse 6 introduces us to the literary devices used in these teachings: proverbs, parables, sayings, and riddles. These forms of wisdom are designed to be memorable and thought-provoking. They often require contemplation and interpretation, which makes them timeless and adaptable for any generation. This verse is one of the key pillars of Proverbs, and indeed, much of wisdom literature. The fear of the Lord refers to a deep reverence for God's authority and order in the universe. This is the foundation for all true knowledge. Without this foundation, human wisdom is limited. The verse contrasts the wise, who seek to learn, with the fool, who rejects guidance and lives without understanding. Here, Solomon appeals to the next generation to listen to their parents' wisdom. In ancient Israel, family was the primary place where wisdom was passed down. Parental instruction wasn't just advice. It was a moral and spiritual training ground. Today, this speaks to the importance of honoring the wisdom and teachings we receive from our families, particularly in matters of faith and values. The wisdom and instruction from our parents and mentors are presented as treasures, symbols of honor and beauty. In ancient Israel, a garland or chain was a sign of honor, and Solomon compares wisdom to these adornments. Wisdom elevates us and provides lasting value in our lives. In these verses, Solomon describes the voice of wisdom calling out to those who would listen. But there is also a warning. Those who ignore wisdom will face consequences. The passage is a stark contrast between the paths of wisdom and folly. Wisdom warns against being enticed by the wicked, who promise shortcuts to success but lead to destruction. Wisdom is depicted as a public figure, standing in the places where people gather and making her call heard. She is not hidden. She is accessible to anyone willing to listen. The public square and city gate were important centers in ancient cities, where discussions, decisions, and commerce took place. Wisdom, like a messenger, speaks in these spaces of influence. The remainder of the chapter warns that those who reject wisdom will eventually face the consequences of their actions. Wisdom describes the inevitable downfall of those who choose to live without understanding, and calls them to repentance before it's too late. The ultimate lesson: wisdom is for those who are humble enough to hear it. In this first chapter, we see that the foundation of all wisdom is reverence for God. The teachings of Proverbs challenge us to live thoughtfully, with the fear of the Lord at the center of our hearts. As we move forward in this series, may we be open to hearing the call of wisdom, and may we choose the path that leads to understanding. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel. Their purpose is to teach people wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. Their purpose is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them do what is right, just, and fair. These proverbs will give insight to the simple, knowledge and discernment to the young. Let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. Let those with understanding receive guidance. By exploring the meaning in these proverbs and parables, the words of the wise and their riddles, fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and discipline. A father's exhortation: acquire wisdom. My child, listen when your father corrects you. Don't neglect your mother's instruction. What you learn from them will crown you with grace and be a chain of honor around your neck. My child, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, "Come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone. Just for fun, let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive, like the grave. Let's swallow them whole, like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of the great things we'll get. We'll fill our houses with all the stuff we take. Come, throw in your lot with us. We'll all share the loot." My child, don't go along with them. Stay far away from their paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. But these people set an ambush for themselves. They are trying to get themselves killed. Such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. Wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. She calls to the crowds along the main street, to those gathered in front of the city gate. How long, you simpletons? Will you insist on being simple-minded? How long will you mockers relish your mocking? How long will you fools hate knowledge? Come and listen to my counsel. I'll share my heart with you and make you wise. I called you so often, but you wouldn't come. I reached out to you, but you paid no attention. You ignored my advice and rejected the correction I offered. So I will laugh when you are in trouble. I will mock you when disaster overtakes you, when calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster engulfs you like a cyclone, and anguish and distress overwhelm you. When they cry for help, I will not answer. Though they anxiously search for me, they will not find me. For they hated knowledge and chose not to fear the Lord. They rejected my advice and paid no attention when I corrected them. Therefore, they must eat the bitter fruit of living their own way, choking on their own schemes. For simpletons turn away from me to death. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency. But all who listen to me will live in peace, untroubled by fear of harm.